Welcome guys to another Age of Empires 4 cassette game. We got a special match today. It is the Elite Classic 2nd edition. This time it's LoueMT in a color blue playing as the Order of the Dragon against Numudan playing as the English in the color red. If you're enjoying those, don't forget to give a like, subscribe to watch more. Let's get into it. This is an EGCTV special map where you cannot really fish here. You can only see the cliff. So it's a map that basically was made for an action-packed game. It's really small, you know, it's very little space for both people to scout the map and check where his opponent is, you know. Already Numudan have a very nice wood line in front of him. He already have big wood lines here. He can easily wall off very cheaply and be protected. But he's playing the English, so probably we gonna see aggression coming from him in this matchup. Meanwhile, Louis playing as the Order of the Dragon. There are plenty of options for him. Like, unlike his friend the Holy Roman Empire, Order of the Dragon, it's potentially, you know, a more aggressive civilization. You know, it's a civilization that we're still working on. We're still trying to figure out what's the best way to play it. It's not as economically strong as the Holy Roman Empire, but it has all really strong units. It's really strong in feudal age if you use it well. It's also very strong in the castle and fast Imperial age. So we will see how Louis plays out. Now, in terms of, you know, tournament statistics and all this stuff, Louis has been having a really solid performance. And this is Louis, you know, Louis is a player that a lot of people are looking forward to see his performance. Like, he's getting better and better with time passing by, and he's just showing up. He's just really a strong player. Like, he's always been in the pro scene, but he wasn't really, you know, the type of guy that, you know, was like Beastie or Wham or, you know, even them were like, he was just not there. But recently, Louis has been showing a really solid performance in the last games, showing that he could actually be a potential threat to those players that have been winning constantly, such as Beastie or Marine Lord, or the Spanish brothers like Vortex, Lucifer. And we will see. I'm really looking forward to see how Louis plays this out, especially in this map, which is very aggressive. Let's take a look at the distribution of the resources. The gold vein really close to Numudan's base. Just gonna be, he just doesn't need to go out in the map. Just wall this off. Really easy wall. Meanwhile, for Louis, he doesn't have the same luck. He can wall this off just to protect the deer, but the rest of the area is just not so easy to wall. It's just very expensive. This is one of those things where random things, you know, random spawn comes into play when playing Age of Empires 4. A lot of people will argue, like, you know, this random spawns actually hurt the competitive field where you need to be very equal for both players just to show really what is the skill behind in a scenario where both players have equal opportunity. But also at the same time, there's also the skill where you need to adapt with what you have. And we see plenty of times where people with, for example, very bad spawns, they just adapt to whatever is the situation that they have, and they just gonna, you know, eventually they can win the game, even though the resources are not into their favor. So it's just so many factors to consider. You already see Numudan with a couple of archers going into Louis' base. Probably, let's take a look at his scout. He's already here. He knows the gold is exposed. Now, for the Order of the Dragon, you don't necessarily need to follow the exact same formula as the Holy Roman Empire. You don't necessarily need to go castle right away. You have really strong archers, and that's what we're seeing Louis building now. It's a stable and an archery range, exactly the counter of what his opponent is having. The problem with Louis is that he will need to wait a while. Those horsemen come in 27 seconds, and the archers also come in 18 seconds, so you're gonna be careful here. Now, these are really strong archers. They not only have plenty of health, they also attack really fast. 1 second attack speed. Let's take a look at the Lombos. Have 1.62 seconds attack speed. So you're talking about almost more than 1.5 seconds to attack the other player, which is a big thing. Now, Numudan is already massing a lot of Lombos, already having the farm transition. Classic English stuff, just because their farms are really cheap. They just want to have the farm here in the back, just to, you know, put pressure into your opponent. You don't really necessarily need to go out in the map to get the resources. Your farms really give you the best out of your budget. And Louis already figured out his opponent is actually going for the gold vein. He's gonna remove those villagers from there and just focus on the wood. Let's change for income per minute just to check how this gate compare to each other based on their income. We have the main work palace actually working into his favor, having those +1 range attack coming soon. Especially when you already have 3 archers, you can already think about, like, instead of 3, there are like 6 or 7. It's not exactly the formula where it's like 2 units equal, 2 Order of the Dragon units equals 1 normal unit. It's not exactly like that, but we can think of a way that this is not really a low number of units. You can see really in the unit count here on the top, where they're pretty equal in terms of army value. So actually they're exactly equal in terms of army value. I don't know if this is bugged. I know the archers can come with a little bit of a bug where you don't see the resource there, but in any case, I believe Numudan should have the advantage when it comes to actually mass units. And potentially, you know, you can always one-shot the units. The Lombos, one of a scary unit. Louis already putting those units next to his wood line. He knows he's exposed here. He can potentially wall this off just to get the deer. Should be in a very good position. He has the deer, has the stump, has the wood line. The rest is gonna be a little bit hard to wall. Meanwhile, a couple of gilded horsemen are already here. Actually, it's 1 gilded horseman and 2 archers. They're just gonna try to see if they can harass his opponent. Take a look at that, if that's gonna happen. Meanwhile, Numudan actually going for the boar at the beginning. You don't really see this very often, where the English go for the boar. Typically is, you know what, we're gonna stop the farm transition. We're just going right into the boar, just to get those units out right away. We need more and more units. Looks like the archers will connect with the villagers. Villagers not having textiles yet for Numudan. Horseman is just gonna wander around just to see if he has any luck to get his opponent. It looks like the scout will potentially go down here. This is a 4 horsemen here. Probably the scout is just gonna go down, which is really bad for Numudan. He will lack vision for whatever is it that his opponent is doing. Meanwhile, more units coming from Louis. It's just being really defensive at the moment. It's just have, like, how many units are here? 9 archers, and already have the upgrade. So these are archers that you really need to fear. Lombos also have archer +1 range damage, but they don't have the +1 range armor, so you're gonna be careful here. against those units, those upgrades can really make the difference. Louis trying to harass his opponent is gonna have a little bit of a hard time because these farms are into DC range. He can potentially try to snipe those villagers. You know, these horsemen do a lot of damage, especially like 15's damage spear. They can do the charge damage and everything. So you could potentially snipe those villagers really fast, at least one, if you really try. But there will be a couple of spearmen here. It looks like Louis will try to snipe those villagers. He's not gonna be able to do that. +1 range armor coming for Numudan. He's already going here. He feels really confident about his army value. Has 24 longbows, 13 spearmen, a couple of them in the base trying to protect him. I would love to see him wall this place just because it's so easy to wall, very cheap. Have plenty of wood coming, 466 wood a minute, so you can wall this up really easily with that amount of wood income and just, you know, focus on attacking. But looks like Numudan is actually, that's a lot of villagers on gold, and looks like one villager went down. Numudan not paying attention here. Those are a lot of villagers on gold, potentially thinking about going to a castle age himself. Let's see what's his plan. Meanwhile, Numudan just putting those units next to the board just to be safe. Let's take a look at his vision. He knows where his opponent can come from, and looks like Louis is just gonna go the other way around and potentially will try to flank his opponent. He knows he's in the board. Let's take a look at Louis' vision. Probably he knows about that. He's gonna start torching that house. Remember, those horsemen do a lot of damage. Look at that. Those horsemen are really something. And more units are coming here just to try to prevent those horsemen to do any more damage. And at the same time, Louis actually aging up with the Regnix Cathedral. It's gonna be 6 villagers. He's not gonna rush it or anything. You know, he already put... you know, this is something that you don't see really often. The English actually putting a lot of effort on his defense, where instead of just attacking his opponent, and he should take advantage of this just because the longbows are such a strong unit in the feudal age. He already have a lot of villagers on gold, so potentially he can also go castle age soon. Has the boar farm transition is almost there. Like, I mean, it's not a lot of farms, but it's still something. Looks like both players will play very safe, and that's what we usually see in these tournaments. Like, you always go for the safe option. You will think, okay, I'm in the board, meaning I'm ahead when it comes to food economy, meaning I should just defend the board and I will be good, right? So that's the safest option. He's also going for the King's Palace here. If you don't have a snack or something, I highly recommend you to go pause this video, go grab a snack, something to eat, something to drink, whatever is it that it makes you happy, because it looks like we will be having at least a castle age fight here. So it's gonna get, things are gonna get really interesting from now on. Numudan reached the castle age. Meanwhile, Louis, is he trying to get those relics? Only horsemen there, trying to get those upgrades, getting veteran seafood, both units, both the archers and the horsemen, and also special upgrades for the Order of the Dragon is scale armor, increase the armor +3. So it's just gonna be very good archers. Like, once he has this army is just not gonna do much. Like, these archers are really strong. You gotta be careful about them. Louis not creating any special unit. He's just gonna upgrade what he already has. He's actually upgrading to those veteran man-at-arms. Gonna transition soon. And looks like finally Louis is gonna connect with Numudan, with those horsemen. Looks like nothing happened. Both players playing very defensively. The wall is about to be finished. Numudan with very solid position here. His spawn, the wood line, is really into his favor this time. Meanwhile, a couple of relics coming from Louis. One already coming home, one already there. Numudan already have one. A couple of them also there. This one's still unprotected. One relic coming home. Looks like Louis will play very defensively until he gets all the relics, because the relics, if you don't know about the Order of the Dragon, same as the Holy Roman Empire, the Regnix Cathedral will give you 100% gold for each relic that you garrison. So you're gonna be very greedy when it comes to those. If you potentially have like 5 relics, that equals to pretty much, I believe, like 20 villagers there. 20 villagers working for you non-stop for the rest of the game, gathering gold if you get all those 5 relics. And he already have 5. I don't know where it is the 5th one. Let's take a look at this. He's gonna grab something, but there's nothing there. Looks like Numudan is gonna grab it. He getting those man-at-arms. It's gonna be man-at-arms against man-at-arms. Meanwhile, the horseman with 310 HP, they're gonna be very tanky. I can assure you this. I already have 5 range armor, so they're gonna be really tanky when it comes to going deep dive into the English base. English used, you know, having the time of their lives, just having those farms in the back, all their economy, gold, double gold. Can't get better than this, really. Such a good spawn for Numudan. Meanwhile, Louis massing those units. Both players very equal when it comes to the army value. They are both there. Like they do have a very solid army value. So we're not really sure who's gonna win this fight. It will come to pretty much a position where who's gonna micro better at this league, where, you know, this is the best of Age of Empires. You will see insanely good micro. Well, Louis aging up with the Pal of Suavia here, just distracting his opponent with all these armies. Like, you're gonna fight in the cancellation, you wanna fight, it's like he's gonna just grab his attention. It's like, I'm actually fighting you. At the same time, it's like, you know what, I'm going Imperial, and things are just gonna start to get a little bit hard for you. Numudan just very afraid to go into Louis' base, and he's just gonna say Louis is in Imperial Age. He's just gonna go for it. Numudan is just gonna walk into Louis' base with his army. It's like, you don't have upgrades. I know you spent thousands of resources to go to Imperial. Like, there's no way you have an army bigger than mine. But in reality, Louis has been spending his resources also, and I'm not really sure how he made it. He managed to get those units out, playing very like in a very smart way to just not fight any unnecessary fight. Just let those units, they will pay off in the future. You can get those upgrades later, and we're gonna see Louis catching up with the villager count here. We have 58, so it's not gonna be long enough until he catches up Numudan with the villager count. Now the good thing about Numudan is he has the advantage economically. Like, first thing, he has the farm transition here. It's not any farm transition, it's the English farm transition. They do extra bonuses when you have those, those units there. And a raid happening here at the same time. Numudan trying to attack into Louis' base. Magonal shot doing a decent shot against those infantry units. Just Louis trying to harass with those horsemen. Only 7 horsemen, they paid so well. Already taking down 6 villagers so far in this game. Just gonna be distracting Numudan from the actual fight here. These are a lot of gilded crossbowmen, a lot of archers, and a Magonel. And looks like a Magonel is just gonna be enough for Louis to actually protect this. Man-at-Arms just thinks he's invincible. Prelate is gonna capture the sacred site. A couple of sacred sites here only. Exiles also going for Numudan to match his opponent. It's gonna be sure, like you have these horsemen in your field. You gotta be careful here. Not to let those horsemen actually going into your base. No elite upgrades for Louis yet. He still lacks the economy to do that. Here, he's already catching up with the villagers. Palace of Swabia being able to produce villagers each 8 seconds. Louis is just gonna, you know, push here with only basically a handful of man-at-arms and his Mangonel. Meanwhile, at the same time, just keep raiding, man. Keep raiding non-stop. At the same time, Berkshire going out for Numudan in a very solid position. Protects the gold, protects the sacred sites, protects the stone. Very, very good position for Numudan. A couple of Magonels also going for him, but these archers have plenty of HP. Gotta be careful not to lose them. These are very expensive units. Looks like the Berkshire will go up. Numudan goes into the Imperial Age. Louis still with those horsemen trying to just annoy his opponent. These horsemen are just so annoying. This is just, you know what? I'm just gonna fight those spearmen. Already see a cannon coming from Louis, trying to react to everything that his opponent is doing. No walls also from here, so his opponent can come from any place. But typically the English is only an infantry base only composition. So, you know, it's not that you're gonna have a knight or something. Really bad timing for Louis. He's just building that wall, and Numudan just finds it out. Throws those archers there, cancels the wall, needs to go back home. Looks like he will send the army soon. Just a matter of time. Come on, Louis. Now Numudan will kill the prelate here. Decapture the sacred site. Now potentially Numudan has a really solid position to go for a sacred site victory. He already have the Berkshire here. He can potentially start walling off this. And looks like Louis it's going for a keep himself, protecting that sacred site and avoiding that potential sacred site victory from his opponent. We're already seeing elite upgrades for Louis, catching up with the economy. Meanwhile, Numudan still veteran spearman, veteran longbows, not having enough gold to get those upgrades yet, or if he wants to get those upgrades, like when does he want to make them? Man-at-Arms is still normal. Tight Barnes research by Numudan. Let's take a look at Louis' vision. Just gonna have a keep here. And one sneaky villager. What are you doing here? It's gonna put an outpost. Now, there's something we see about Louis doing. It's he loves outposts, and you're gonna be careful here not to lose the bombard. Still gonna be a tough time. Have one villager to repair the bombard. And that's a really that's a top 8 player move actually. This is why we're having these tournaments here. One villager to just focus on but that bombard, it's gonna go down. Opponent has sprinkles. Looks like they are gonna fight to the Berkshire. Gotta do a very good job against those units. It's just so strong. And at the same time, Louis building up a wall. Just trying to torch the wall. Managed to take that wall down. Oh my god. Tried to build another wall. Almost managed to finish the wall. It looks like the villagers will burn it down. You know what? It's just like, let's just gonna build another stone wall here. Just to be safe. Now, bot players reaching up population cap. Numudan almost 200. Louis 100, almost 190. So he's in a really good position. Bot players with pretty similar villager count. Let's talk about the distribution of resources. Louis has a really good gold income just because he has 3 relics that equals to pretty much 600 gold a minute. That's a lot, especially in a map like this where resources are not that many. You only have this gold and this gold, which is about finished. But the good thing is Numudan has a couple of golds in his base. Meanwhile, Louis will build a siege workshop in the front. Already have a keep here. Try to secure some map control. Numudan pushing into Louis' base. Those are already elite man-at-arms, but incendiary arrows going for Louis. Those elite crossbowmen actually doing a lot of good job here. Louis just getting the gold in the middle. Having the army lead for now. He's gonna build walls for himself. It's just gonna be, you know, just to be safe, you know, just to be safe. Wood is run out for now. What is this? This is a market. Actually, trading is a potential. It is an option for this game. Trading it's an option. Trade is in the middle. You can potentially wall this off and have a really good time trading. Meanwhile, his opponent hasn't think about trading yet. Just because they have enclosures, you know, those passive gold income, they don't really think too much about it. But trade really makes a difference here. Already building those markets, and he knows that. You know what? This trade post is mine, and we're just gonna have, you know, we're gonna trade. And, you know, we are the only ones who are going to trade here. Meaning Numudan will leave with only the gold he has in his base. And this is going to run out soon. One gold vein almost finished. The other one, not a big one. So he's going to run out of gold really soon. Meanwhile, elite man-at-arms trying to sneak their way in. But they're just not going to have a good time. Villagers just rushing. All of Swabia stop producing villagers. Actually, he thinks actually we are fine. We don't need more villagers. Have plenty of resources. Numudan already have a keep here. Have a lot of sprinkles. Actually, 4 sprinkles. At this point in the game, you really want to have sprinkles. Just because your opponent can go for those. You never know when your opponent how much siege he has. Let's take a look at Louis' vision. He has vision about everything. He knows his opponent is going for a keep. Meanwhile, Numudan, let's take a look at his vision. He knows Louis. He's trying to trade here. Builds a battering ram here to push into his opponent's base. Archers are just gonna do a really decent job here. Magonel also gonna do a decent damage, but looks like he's gonna go up. He doesn't go up to those walls. Like, potentially he can go up and actually do some decent damage. I mean, those elite gilded archers do 16 damage each. That's pretty much 13 damage for each crossbow man that you see here. We're seeing a mix of hand cannoneers, crossbow, man-at-arms from Louis. Meanwhile, horsemen also going for him. These are elite gilded horsemen. Biology is there apparently, and this has a lot of health. They're very tanky, but nice attempt coming from Louis trying to take down those Magonels, but Numudan managed to take them out. Still have a couple of Magonels working in his favor. And be careful, Louis, not to, close. Don't forget to close this. It's gonna be a little. You gotta be careful here. This is a small little hole here that can really cause a lot of chaos into your base. You gotta be careful here. More units coming from Louis. Let's take a look at Numudan's base. More farm transition coming from him. The more the better, just because you will have more gold. Meanwhile, in this area, looks like Louis already pushed with his units. It's gonna take down some villagers. Now remember, English have 2 town centers, but do not have the Palace of Suabia, so it's just gonna be harder for him. You just not gonna be able to lose that many villagers compared to your opponent. It looks like Numudan is just trying to push into the base, but a lot of Louis units are already here. Horseman, I'm doing God's War here. Managed to take down those Mangonels. Elite man-at-arms, just very tanky here. Those they have a lot of health. They're just gonna push into your base, and at the same time, Numudan with a little bit of a trouble here. Crossbow and man-at-arms into his base, inside his base. Units are just gonna ignore, a couple of rams will just try to take down this skip. Meanwhile, Louis will keep pushing with his units. Trade already start, only 48 gold. That's better than nothing, he says. Hand cannoneers doing decent damage, actually. 38 each one of them. Looks like the rams are gonna go down, but the keep, it's already half health, so that's almost halfway there. Louis taking down 34 villagers into this game. Already have the villager count 20, almost more than 20 villagers lead at this moment. Can make a difference actually. You can already start to see the food income, which is exactly what you need at this moment. You need those man-at-arms, you need those crossbows, and those are really food expensive units. You don't want to lose your villagers. Gold is about to run out here. Only 600 gold left for Numudan, and trade it's already being denied for him. Louis already taking control of the map. Horseman already here. And now we see the big boy joining the party. Where is he? Let's try to find him. There you go. The big boy. Elite Gilded Knight. Look at that. 552 health. 45 damage. These are guys that you need Spearman for this. And looks like Numudan already have some Spearman for himself, because the crossbows alone are just not gonna be enough. It looks like Louis going for the Berkshire, and at the same time a double attack for him, just having those horsemen for the raids. This looks like he's just still massing units here. Villagers just gonna go burn those battering rams, trying to take down, decapture the sacred site at the same time with one horseman. At the same time, another raid happening here. Just horsemen being annoying. Those have a lot of health. Look at how much health they have. They say, yes, that many health I have. Looks like Berkshire will still be alive. I didn't know if it did go down. I don't think so. And at the same time, another attack coming from Louis, but this time with the elite gilded knights. These are tanky boys. These guys have plenty of health, plenty of armor, plenty of damage. This is the best unit in the game, probably. And looks like this skip is gonna go down for Numudan. At the same time, Numudan getting raided by Louis. Those horsemen just doing so much work. 39 villagers dead already. we're starting to see, let's take a look at the villager distribution. Only 35 villagers on foot. Looks like Numudan won't have enough food to replenish those units. But so far, looks like he cleaned this up. He's 95 military units. Berkshire, it's up and running again. Meanwhile, Louis just sending those units. Numudan is still looking solid with the army numbers. Numudan, if there is a time to attack, this is the right time to attack. You cannot go back. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Now this is the time to attack. And now you need to go back to your base just because another raid will happen. You know, you have plenty of units here. You're talking about 96 military units against 25. You can win this fight. But sending those gilded man-at-arms just to harass your opponent is just gonna be a distraction for you. Now you cannot send all your units to actually push into the opponent's base. And he's just gonna mass up those units. And he's gonna go back at it again. You may not have the villager count. You may not have the gold, but you have a lot of units. And that's something you need to use in your favor. You may have lost the keep, but you have 98 units. And the longer it takes, the harder it is for Numudan to actually go back into his fight. His opponent already 49 military population. So the longer it takes, it's just gonna be harder to deal with those. Just keep sending those rams here. But the good thing is the rams got a nerf. They're gonna get more damage from those units. Just, you know, keep doing damage to those rams. Not gonna be a trouble here. And now another raid coming here. Numudan actually building stone wall here. But the horsemen are already here. Gilded Knights still alive. Spearman actually doing a really good job against them. But more horsemen are already here. Those raids just non-stop. They just don't stop coming. Those raids are just really so annoying for Numudan. He already have 100 military population. Army value pretty equal actually. So it's just because those Gilded Knights horsemen are still alive. And looks like Louis is just gonna change his strategy. You know what? We're going man-at-arms. We're going 22 man-at-arms. And you know, man-at-arms is a unit that the Order of the Dragon is, you know, stands out. He just stands out with this unit. Man-at-arms is just made different here. Like almost 30 damage compared to 20 of his opponent and almost double the health. So it's just really hard for him. Meanwhile, Louis still trading, not the best trade in the war, but that's the best you can get for this distance. Traders still doing work. Numudan have plenty of gold in his base. Can potentially sell some of those gold. Looks like he sold something. Does he has a market somewhere? I don't see it. Looks like he gathered enough stone. He needs those walls because there you go. Walls coming here from Numudan. He knows those raids are just being so annoying. He just can't push into his enemy base. And now the army value is not in his favor. Like he will need to torch this wall if he wants to finish his stone wall. At the same time, Gilded Knights trying to torch this. A little bit of a race here. Which unit it's gonna torch down the wall first. Whoever does it first is just gonna be the winner here. Berkshire still up and running. Gonna be able to deal some damage to those Gilded Knights. very decent damage actually. Trebuchet also going for Numudan, but looks like Louis is going for it. Plenty of man-at-arms. Plenty of siege. Now those man-at-arms will be very tanky. Trebuchet looks like it's gonna go down. Culverin's going back. You don't want to lose those. Man-at-arms still up and running. Mangonels dealing with those crossbows. And Louis, after a long time, he has the advantage in the military. Battering rams still pushing into that Berkshire. And the Gilded Knights still there against those man-at-arms. Louis with a couple of mangonels still doing damage. Looks like he will take down the Berkshire. Louis is going for it. More units coming from him. And now Numudan needs to go back into his base. More man-at-arms, more siege coming from Louis. Berkshire went down. And Numudan with only 75. You know, only 75 villagers. Not having enough resources to get that army out. But somehow he still have a lot of army. But the army value is just not there. These are gilded hand cannoneers. These are really something else. They do a lot of damage. You gotta be careful here. More man-at-arms coming from Numudan. Looks like he's just sending his units. Mangonel shots, not really the right unit to attack. Somehow Order of the Dragon don't have any BFX on the attacks, so we don't see. They just do the sound, you know. It's a toy, basically a toy gun. It's like they just do the sound. They don't throw really the gun. A couple of man-at-arms here trying to cause some chaos, try to burn down those walls. Crossbows, exactly the right unit against Louis' composition. And now the archers, the lombos, are just gonna deal so much damage to those hand cannoneers. Looks like Louis will go back to square one. Sacred Site victory approaching. There is a keep here, so it's gonna be hard for Numudan to actually decap this site. Meanwhile, this site still no defensive structures here from Louis, but the Berkshire is down. Well, another raid coming here from Louis. This is just becoming so annoying. It looks like Louis deletes some villagers. Just because you cannot have that much army. Gonna have. Let's take a look at his production. Numudan, 11 barracks, 2 siege workshop, 5 archery range. Take a look at Louis. 10 archery range, 11 barracks, 11 stables, 7 siege workshops. Another tile center as well, just in case. You can use emergency repairs to get the skip. Berkshire being repaired again. And the story continues. Numudan is trying to hold up. Remember, there is money on the line in this fight. Bot players just giving its best. Another wall coming from Louis. It's just gonna, slow but steady, block his opponent from getting more stone walls. A 3 crossbow here. Crossbowman here, but it's not gonna be enough to deal with those Gilded Knights. Managed to take 1 crossbow, 2 crossbows, and looks like the other one will keep living another day. but only one crossbow is just not gonna be enough. It's gonna do like 20 damage each hit, so it's like not really the best. Berkshire, it's up and running again. Once again, we've seen the Berkshire dying and being alive again so many times, being destroyed, burned down, but being repaired countless of times in this fight. And well, the Gilded Knights are just gonna do their job again. This is a unit that is, you know, if you potentially raid your opponent, there is an open place here, you can really cause a lot of damage. And we see the Landknecht here, exactly the right unit that Louis needs. Those Landknecht will do a really good job against those archery mass. Only one unit to actually deal with the English army. Seems like an impossible task for Louis to actually just push into the English base. But now with those Landknecht, plenty of gold income, plenty of food income, he just need more Landknecht. He already has 17 on the field, and Numudan taps out. He knows he cannot hold the push of Louis. Well played by these two players. I put a link in the description where you can follow EGCTV. Go follow them. Go watch the tournament live in this weekend.